Get out! Get out! Get out! Get the f*** out!
Hollywood shines with glitz, charm, and unforgettable performances. But behind the cameras, some stars revealed tempers darker than their most villainous roles. From explosive meltdowns on set to violent confrontations off-screen, these legends terrified colleagues, destroyed careers, and left trails of chaos. Fame gave them power. Rage made them unforgettable. Hollywood glitters like no other place on Earth. The red carpets, golden awards, and smiling stars tell a story of perfection. But beneath that glossy surface lives another reality. One built on explosive tempers, bruised egos, and reputations scarred by fury. Audiences are endlessly fascinated by this darker side. Maybe it's because we see stars as larger-than-life, flawless creatures. So when they break down in anger, when their perfect masks crack, it reminds us they're human, messy, emotional, and often dangerous. The contrast between glamour and chaos is irresistible. These aren't minor tantrums. These are legendary blow-ups. Actors screaming at crew members, smashing phones, storming off sets, and sometimes throwing punches. Stories of celebrity tempers travel faster than movie trailers. In many cases, their rages are remembered longer than their roles. This isn't new. In Hollywood's golden era, directors and producers covered up bad behavior, protecting stars whose tempers were tolerated for the sake of box office gold. Studio heads shielded names like Faye Dunaway or Klaus Kinski, believing the chaos was worth the brilliance they delivered on screen. Today, things are different. Social media, leaked audio, and camera phones mean no meltdown goes unnoticed. The public now watches in real time when a star explodes. Yet the fascination remains unchanged. The truth is simple. Talent and temper often walk hand in hand. Some of the most brilliant performances in cinema history were delivered by people who carried rage like a shadow. And while Hollywood has changed, its most temperamental stars still remind us of the thin line between genius and destruction. It was 2009 when the world heard one of the most infamous meltdowns in film history. Christian Bale, deep into filming Terminator Salvation, exploded at director of photography Shane Hurlbut. The leaked audio became instant Hollywood legend. "What don't you fucking understand?" Bale screamed, his voice cracking with rage. He accused the crew member of ruining a scene by walking into his eye line. The tirade lasted nearly 4 minutes. His language was laced with venom, and it was clear the crew around him was terrified. When the recording hit the internet, it spread like wildfire. Radio hosts played it on repeat. Parodies popped up overnight. For weeks, Bale wasn't just Batman. He was the guy who lost it on set. To his credit, Bale later apologized on live radio. He admitted he was out of line and said he took his role too seriously. But the damage was done. The incident became part of his legacy. For some fans, it humanized him. For others, it revealed a side of him darker than any role he ever played. Edward Norton's reputation in Hollywood is a different kind of rage, quieter, but no less destructive. Known as a perfectionist, he often clashed with directors over creative control. On American History X, 1998, Norton allegedly took over the editing process, recutting the film to his vision. The director, Tony Kaye, later said Norton hijacked the movie. Then came Marvel. Norton was cast as Bruce Banner in The Incredible Hulk, 2008. But behind the scenes, things turned ugly. Norton demanded script rewrites, clashed with producers, and pushed for a more serious tone. Marvel, famously protective of its brand, grew frustrated. By the time The Avengers, 2012, came around, Norton was gone. Kevin Feige, Marvel's president, issued a carefully worded statement about needing an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit. The translation? Norton was too difficult to work with. Even Norton himself later admitted, "I wanted more control than they were comfortable with." While his temper wasn't the screaming kind, his battles behind the scenes showed how rage doesn't always mean shouting. Sometimes it's stubbornness that burns bridges. If Christian Bale gave us Hollywood's most infamous audio, Russell Crowe gave us some of its wildest headlines. In 2005, Crowe was arrested in New York for assault after throwing a telephone at a hotel concierge. The worker needed stitches. Crowe was furious that his phone couldn't connect a call to his wife in Australia. The incident made global headlines. But this wasn't a one-off. Crowe had already built a reputation as one of Hollywood's most combustible stars. On the set of Gladiator, he argued with Ridley Scott over rewrites. During the BAFTAs, he allegedly threatened producer Malcolm Jerry after his poem reading was cut from the broadcast. "You will regret this," Crowe reportedly shouted. Yet, despite the violence and rage, Crowe's career thrived. Gladiator grossed over $460 million worldwide. A Beautiful Mind won Best Picture. Studios tolerated his fury because the box office numbers justified the chaos. Crowe himself later reflected on his reputation, admitting he sometimes let anger get the better of him. "I was out of control," he confessed in interviews. But for many fans, the fiery temper became part of the Gladiator mystique. Rage and brilliance rolled into one. In the 1960s and 70s, Faye Dunaway rose to the top with unforgettable roles in Bonnie and Clyde and Chinatown. Her beauty was undeniable, her talent electrifying. But behind the camera, Dunaway became infamous for her volcanic temper. Crew members whispered about her mood swings. Co-stars described her as impossible. On the set of Mommy Dearest, 1981, her portrayal of Joan Crawford blurred dangerously with real life. The infamous no wire hangers scene didn't just live on screen. Her on-set meltdowns carried the same terrifying energy. Even decades later, directors refused to work with her. One famously said, "She's one of the great actresses, but impossible." In a 2019 Broadway production, Dunaway was fired after verbally abusing crew members. Her reputation as Hollywood's ultimate diva of rage never left her. If Faye Dunaway was difficult, Klaus Kinski was something else entirely. The German actor's rage bordered on the psychotic. Director Werner Herzog, who collaborated with Kinski 5 times, described their relationship as a war zone. During the filming of Aguirre, The Wrath of God, 1972, Kinski fired a gun on set, nearly hitting extras. In another production deep in the Amazon jungle, Kinski's behavior became so unbearable that local indigenous crew members offered Herzog a shocking solution. They volunteered to kill him. Herzog refused, but only barely. He later admitted he once pointed a gun at Kinski to keep him from walking off set. Yet Kinski's madness translated into unforgettable performances. His rage on screen was raw because it was real. Audiences were transfixed. The man who terrorized his colleagues delivered films that became masterpieces. The price was trauma for everyone around him. Not all tempers come with screaming. Some come with icy contempt. Tommy Lee Jones, one of Hollywood's most respected actors, has long been known for his short fuse and dismissive attitude. During the filming of Batman Forever, 1995, Jim Carrey recalled trying to greet him warmly at a restaurant. Jones responded coldly, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery." Crew members describe him as brilliant but intimidating, a man who doesn't tolerate nonsense. Reporters have experienced it too. Jones often delivers curt, cutting answers during interviews, making it clear when he doesn't want to be there. In old Hollywood, this kind of behavior was hidden, brushed aside as artistic temperament. Today, it stands out. But Jones's long career proves that even in silence, rage has power. Few stars embody Hollywood hot-headedness like Sean Penn. Known as much for his temper as for his Oscars, Penn's violent streak dominated tabloids in the 80s and 90s. In 1987, Penn served 33 days in jail for assaulting a film extra. He repeatedly attacked paparazzi, once dangling one photographer over a 9th-floor balcony. Another time, he smashed a camera to pieces during a violent altercation. On set, his temper wasn't much better. Michael J. Fox, who worked with Penn on Casualties of War, 1989, admitted he was tormented by Penn's intensity and bullying. Fox later described it as one of the most difficult experiences of his career. Yet Hollywood never turned away. Penn's performances in Mystic River and Milk cemented his place among the greats. The industry tolerated the fury, as long as the brilliance kept flowing. Alec Baldwin's temper has followed him like a shadow. In 2007, the world heard Baldwin at his worst. A voicemail leaked in which he berated his young daughter, calling her a rude, thoughtless little pig. The backlash was immediate and brutal. But that wasn't his only outburst. Baldwin was arrested in 2011 after allegedly punching a photographer. In 2018, he was arrested again over a parking dispute, accused of punching a man in Manhattan. On an American Airlines flight, he caused a scene after refusing to turn off his phone while playing Words with Friends. And of course, the Rust tragedy in 2021 placed Baldwin at the center of Hollywood's harshest spotlight. While that incident wasn't about temper, it reignited debates over his long history of volatility. Baldwin's story is a reminder that some reputations are hard to escape. Talent can't erase the scars of rage. Shia LaBeouf's career has been a roller coaster of brilliance and breakdowns. In 2014, he was arrested during a Broadway performance of Cabaret for disorderly conduct. Witnesses described him shouting obscenities, smoking in the theater, and slapping actors on the rear. He spent the night in jail. That same year, he walked a red carpet with a paper bag over his head, reading, "I am not famous anymore." It was performance art, or perhaps another meltdown. On film sets, his method acting often crossed the line. During Fury 2014, he reportedly cut his own face and refused to shower, creating unbearable conditions for his co-stars. By 2020, LaBeouf faced lawsuits alleging abusive behavior. His once promising career was eclipsed by chaos. It's not just these stars. A 2019 Hollywood Reporter survey revealed nearly 30% of crew members admitted to experiencing verbal or physical abuse from actors on set. Police records show dozens of stars, from Robert Downey Jr. to Lindsay Lohan, have faced arrests during their careers. In Hollywood, rage isn't an exception, it's a pattern. Comedy legend Chevy Chase should have been remembered for brilliance. Instead, many remember him for cruelty. On Saturday Night Live, Chase clashed with castmates, once getting into a fistfight with Bill Murray. His return as a guest host years later was so toxic that cast members dreaded working with him. On the set of Community, Chase's behavior was worse. He delivered racist remarks, insulted co-stars, and berated writers. Donald Glover later admitted Chase's behavior made him deeply uncomfortable. Eventually, Chase was written off the show. What's tragic is the irony. The man who made millions laugh left pain behind the scenes. Bill Murray has long been adored by fans. His eccentric, unpredictable personality made him a cult figure. But colleagues often tell a darker story. On the set of Charlie's Angels 2000, Murray clashed so fiercely with Lucy Liu that the two nearly came to blows. On Saturday Night Live, his fight with Chevy Chase became legendary. More recently, Murray's film Being Mortal was suspended after allegations of inappropriate conduct on set. Behind the charm lies a man known for mood swings, insults, and confrontations. For many, it's another reminder that comedy's brightest faces often hide the darkest tempers. Jennifer Lopez built an empire on music, film, and fashion. But her reputation as a diva is as famous as her career. Former staff claim she fired employees for trivial mistakes, including failing to get her coffee order right. Rumors swirl about her refusing to work with certain staff members, demanding all-white dressing rooms, and avoiding eye contact with crew. On a charity flight, Lopez allegedly caused a scene when her seat wasn't prepared to her liking. Other passengers were stunned at the fury she unleashed on attendants. Lopez isn't alone. Mariah Carey, Madonna, and even Beyoncé have faced diva accusations. The line between perfectionism and toxicity is thin. Some argue these women are unfairly judged compared to male stars. Others insist the behavior is unacceptable regardless of gender. Mariah Carey, for instance, has long embraced the diva label, sometimes turning it into part of her brand. Stories of her requesting baskets of puppies backstage or demanding thousands of white roses are legendary. To fans, it's charming. To critics, it signals arrogance. Madonna, too, has been notorious for clashing with dancers, directors, and even her own fans when things don't go her way. These incidents blur the line between artistic vision and volatile temperament. Then there's Beyoncé, often hailed as one of the most professional artists in the world. Yet even she hasn't escaped whispers of being overly demanding. Crew members have described grueling rehearsal schedules and perfectionist standards that leave little room for error. Admirers argue that's why she's unmatched on stage. But to some insiders, her relentless drive feels intimidating. This raises an important question. Are female stars judged more harshly than men when they assert control? When Russell Crowe or Christian Bale explode, the narrative often spins as method acting or artistic passion. When Lopez or Carey make demands, the label diva quickly attaches, dripping with negativity. Sociologists studying celebrity culture note this double standard. A 2020 report from the University of Southern California found that female performers were twice as likely to be described as difficult in media coverage compared to male counterparts, even when the behaviors were identical. That means some of these diva accusations may be rooted as much in sexism as in reality. Still, diva behavior has its limits. Even loyal fans can sour when demands turn cruel or staff face humiliation. Former employees of Lopez have claimed the atmosphere around her is suffocating, where small mistakes can cost jobs. It sparks debate about whether brilliance requires brutality or whether kindness and excellence can coexist. The truth: diva tempers remind us that rage isn't limited to men. In Hollywood, power fuels fury, no matter who holds it. But perhaps what matters most is accountability. In today's industry, talent alone can't excuse cruelty, whether male or female, star or supporting act. The world is watching more closely than ever before. Why does Hollywood let this behavior continue? The answer is simple: money. Russell Crowe's films grossed billions. Sean Penn won Oscars. Jennifer Lopez sells out arenas worldwide. When someone brings in revenue, the industry often looks the other way. Directors justify the abuse by pointing to genius. Yes, he screamed at everyone, but look at the performance. Producers count profits, not bruised egos. Audiences play a role too. We devour scandals. Tabloids and social media thrive on rage-filled headlines. Every meltdown becomes free marketing. In many ways, we fuel the cycle. But the culture is shifting. Cancel culture and workplace accountability mean tempers now come with consequences. Stars like LaBeouf have seen careers derailed. Others, like Dunaway, have been quietly blacklisted. Hollywood is a dream machine, but behind the curtain, tempers can turn that dream into a nightmare. From Christian Bale's tirade to Klaus Kinski's madness, from Sean Penn's fists to Jennifer Lopez's diva demands, rage has shaped careers as much as talent. Some stars managed to rehabilitate. Bale won an Oscar. Crowe kept making films. Others saw their legacies tarnished forever. Chevy Chase went from comedy legend to cautionary tale. In the end, Hollywood thrives on drama, on screen and off. Maybe that's why we can't look away. We're drawn to the chaos, even as it destroys the very stars we admire. Because in Hollywood, the biggest explosions don't always happen on screen. Sometimes they happen in dressing rooms, on sets, and in the fragile hearts of legends who can't control their fury. But what makes these stories so unforgettable is the paradox. Rage often comes hand in hand with brilliance. The same fire that fuels an Oscar-winning performance can ignite into a meltdown that ruins reputations. It's almost as if the intensity that makes someone magnetic on screen makes them dangerous behind it. And audiences? We're complicit. We gasp at the headlines, click on leaked audio, share paparazzi videos. Every time we consume the chaos, we reward it. Hollywood doesn't just tolerate bad behavior, it monetizes it. Outbursts become free publicity. Rage becomes part of the brand. Yet times are changing. In an era of accountability, tempers can no longer hide behind talent alone. Shia LaBeouf lost major opportunities after public scandals. Bill Murray's career paused when allegations surfaced. The world is less forgiving now, and maybe that's necessary. Still, the fascination will never end. We don't just watch movies for escapism. We watch stars for the drama of their lives. Their flaws make them human, but their tempers make them unforgettable. The real question isn't why Hollywood stars lose control. It's why, despite everything, we keep watching, keep forgiving, and keep feeding the cycle. Perhaps we see a reflection of ourselves in their fury. A reminder that even gods of the silver screen are just mortals battling their own storms. And maybe that's the ultimate Hollywood lesson. The spotlight magnifies everything: talent, beauty, rage, and ruin. In the city of dreams, tempers don't just burn careers, they burn into legend. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's fiery tempers, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from behind the curtain of fame. Drop a comment below with which celebrity meltdown shocked you the most. I'd love to hear your thoughts.